Liverpool head into what could be one of the defining weeks of their season, and perhaps even of their transfer strategy under Arne Slot. With all eyes firmly fixed on the saga surrounding Alexander Isak, this isn't just another transfer rumor or routine match buildup. This feels like the type of storyline that has the potential to alter the landscape of English football before the window slams shut. Every whisper, every quote, and every flash of frustration on social media has added gasoline to a fire that's now threatening to explode. Just as Liverpool prepare for a trip to St. James' Park, a ground where emotions are already guaranteed to boil over on Monday night, for Newcastle fans, this isn't just about a striker who has lit up their team over the last 2 years. This is about pride, about promises, about a club desperate to hold on to its best player, while another, bigger, shinier force looms over them with the allure of trophies and titles. For Liverpool supporters, it's a battle between patience and excitement. On one hand, they know that Isak'S is the perfect long-term successor in their front line. On the other, the ticking clock of the transfer window and the desperate need for depth up front, especially with AFCON around the corner, this whole saga unbearably tense. And then, like a plot twist straight from a Hollywood drama, Isak'S himself threw his bombshell onto Instagram. No leaks, no subtle hints, just pure, unfiltered frustration. He accused the club of breaking promises, of letting him down after what he delivered last season, and of twisting the story into something it wasn't. Fans may have debated whether he was justified, but the rawness of his words struck a nerve. It was the type of post that players usually avoid at all costs, the type that shatters the illusion of harmony behind closed doors. Newcastle scrambled to respond, issuing a carefully worded statement that essentially screamed, "Not for sale." But the damage was already done now. The question hanging in the air isn't whether Isak'S wants Liverpool, which whether Newcastle can hold firm long enough to make this problem someone else's headache. Eddie Howe has handled it all with the grace of a politician, refusing to lash out, acknowledging private conversations, but offering nothing to fan the flames further. Yet every word he utters only seems to confirm what many already suspect, that Isak'S sees his future away from St. James' Park. The match against Liverpool could well be his last meaningful act in black and white, whether Newcastle like it or not. From Liverpool's perspective, this entire storm almost feels too perfect. They've been here before, waiting in the long grass while other clubs panic, then swooping in late to secure the player they've been eyeing all summer. The reported £110 million opening offer was already staggering. But the narrative that it wasn't enough, that it was somehow insulting, feels detached from reality. Few clubs on the planet can casually reject that kind of money, and fewer still can hold a player against his will once trust has been broken. Liverpool know this, Slot knows this, and most importantly, Isak'S himself knows this. Still, there are complications. Newcastle have been scrambling to find replacements, scouring Europe for names that might soften the blow. Alexander, Jorgen Strand Larsen, even whispers of Jon Wisadi's aren't like-for-like swaps, but they represent a path forward if Newcastle are finally forced to cash in. The fact that these discussions are even happening tells you everything you need to know. The door isn't locked. It's just waiting for the right push. For Liverpool fans, the focus can't solely be on the transfer drama. Monday night's match at St. James' Park is looming large, and it promises to be one of the most hostile atmospheres they'll face all season. Newcastle supporters have already made their feelings about Liverpool's pursuit of Isak'S crystal clear, and with the cameras on, the banners waving, and the chants deafening. This will feel less like a football match and more like a battle of wills. It's a test not just of Liverpool's footballing ability, but of their mental strength, their composure, their title credentials. Slot's men will need calm heads in a cauldron of noise, and history suggests they have the tools to handle it. Liverpool haven't lost at St. James' Park in a decade, a record that gnaws at Newcastle fans who feel this might finally be their moment. Yet, time and again, the Reds have shown they can soak up the pressure, silence the Gallagate, and walk away with points in their pocket. If they do it again on Monday, it will send a message not just to Newcastle, but to the rest of the Premier League that Slot's reign is already built on steel. Beyond Isak'S, other storylines continue to bubble under the surface. Federico Chiesa's first Premier League goal felt like a breakthrough, a moment of vindication after a year of stop-start struggles and endless speculation. Alisson captured the mood perfectly, admitting that he didn't even mind conceding goals against Bournemouth because it meant Chiesa got to have his moment in front of the Kop. That sort of camaraderie, that sense of shared joy, is what makes Liverpool different. It's not just about the goals or the points, it's about the journey, the moments, the players lifting each other through the highs and lows. And speaking of Alisson, his continued connection with Mohamed Salah remains one of the most underrated weapons in Liverpool's arsenal. Aren't supposed to be assist machines, but when you've got a Brazilian who can pick a pass like a quarterback and an Egyptian who thrives on those runs behind, you get goals that change games in an instant. Alisson summed it up simply. He knows Salah's qualities, Salah knows his, and together they've created a link-up that defies convention. So here Liverpool stand on the brink of another showdown, with a transfer saga swirling around them, a title defense already under the microscope, and the weight of expectation hanging heavy. The beauty and the agony of this game is that nobody knows how it ends. Will Isak'S finally get his move, walking through the doors of Anfield, as the new crown jewel of Slot's attack? Will Newcastle hold firm and ignite one of the fiercest rivalries in modern Premier League history? Or will the whole thing collapse into frustration for everyone involved? What we do know is that this week feels like a turning point. If Liverpool leave St. James' Park with 3 points and then close the window by landing Isak'S, it won't just be a win, it will be a statement, a declaration that the champions intend to stay champions. And if not, well, then the story will only get louder, the drama only deeper, and the ride only more unpredictable.